currently in the Battle of Great Bridge Museum, which was opened like 3 years ago. I'm gonna walk us through Great Bridge, Virginia, Battle to Liberty. We're gonna do the whole museum, and then I will show you all outside. Here's the spinning wheel. This does discuss a lot of the colonial life, and it gets into the battle a little later. Here, let me make this a little easier for y'all to read that possibly. There we go. Here's a general eating area, dining. And the faceless roommate is joining us today, so I'm going to be extremely careful not to get him in the video to ruin his
status.
Yes. I believe that is. Does that say who that is? I don't think that's George. I think that might be Lord Dunmore. Possibly. But I'm not 100% sure. What do we got here? Looks like the gentleman had been playing cards. It does. Donnie Sadler, if you see this, I have to wonder if you dug any of this up, to be quite honest. I know that you, a local historian and fellow Great Bridge graduate, are currently a modern day historian and archaeologist, and I know that you have a collection of these Hershey glass bottles. So I have to wonder if you dug some of these up yourself. But this is some of the finer ware. Great Bridge. Back then. So, and here's what the old tavern would have looked like. You've got your pipes. More bottles and cups. They did like to get into their cups, they did, to say the least. I'll leave this up long enough for you all to be able to read it.
Gentlemen may cry, peace, peace, but there is no peace. The war has actually begun. The next gale that sweeps from the north will bring our ears the clash of resounding arms. Our brethren are already in the field. Why stand we here idle? What is it that gentlemen wish? What would they have? Is life so dear, or peace so sweet as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery? Forbid it, Almighty God. I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty,
Patrick Henry.
or give me death.
Patrick Henry. Conventional wisdom. I'm taking a moment to leave it on long enough for you to be able to read it. Now this museum has been built. The building has been here longer than I can remember, but it's been recently, within the last 6 years, turned into a museum.
The war is actually begun.
Report on the march.
Fleets from the north will bring our ears the flash of resounding arms. Our brethren are already in the field. Why stand we here idle?
At daybreak, on the morning of December 9th, 1775, under the cover of smoke from two burning buildings and shingle piles, the British rolled two 4-pounder cannon field pieces across the Great Bridge.
Oh, they were
These
4-pounder
were placed
cannons.
at the edge of the South Island,
Those were
right
U.S.
west
Navy
of the
cannons,
American
or
breastwork,
British Navy
located
cannons.
directly across the marsh. This position allowed the cannon direct fire at the base of the breastwork,
And they were later
the
spiked.
lives of the grenadiers as they marched along the arc of the causeway to the left of the cannon in preparation for the attack, which began with cannon fire.
Some of the weapons they used back then. The bayonets, smaller cannonballs, and of course, the proverbial red coat.
It's showing the British on the other side, all behind it.
The Grenadiers. Did you know, Alex, that they had freed slaves? They were known as the Royal Ethiopians. Yep. Lord Dunmore, John Murray, offered them
Grenadiers press forward across the bridge.
freedom
They form up into
if they
two
fought for
platoons
the British.
and carry forward.
They marched across six abreast, and that's why they got shot to pieces. And here's what the Colonials wore, as they were referred to, or the Whigs, and what they were fighting with.
Billy Flora retreats to the breastwork as the Grenadiers take form. As the Grenadiers march forward, they were restrained 6 abreast on the narrow causeway bordered by quick mire and 2 small streams.
They waited until they were within 50 yards, I believe it was.
Hold your fire! Hold your fire! Don't waste your shot! Hold your fire!
And they were believed to have just been being harassed by the British that morning.
Under orders of Lieutenant Trask, the Patriots held further fire until the British were trapped on the causeway 50 yards from the breastwork.
Yeah, 50 yards.
Then bullets whistled on every side.
Joshua! Fire! I pursue! Rumble now! Get ready! Present! Fire!
They were actually firing from breastworks. And there were 90 of them. 90 marksmen that were charged with holding them back. These were the Culpeper Minutemen along with a group of North Carolina Minutemen.
Sergeant, form a detail. Tend to the wounded.
The decisive event at Great Bridge in December 1775 was one of the great turning points in the early part of the War for Independence. Without the victory, the whole course of the war would have been significantly different.
True enough. Because they were routed out of Norfolk, and that was essentially the end of British rule in colonial Virginia at the time. Down around their ears. Fordyce, the commander of the British forces, actually said, "This day is ours, seize the day," or something to that effect, and led the charge. It was estimated that when he died, because he was one of the first to fall, and led a second charge, when he did finally fall on that second charge, he was shot something like 14 times. He had been shot, like I said, roughly 14 times. And Samuel Leslie, who was leading the Royal Ethiopians, as they were referred to, a group of 230 freed African slaves, or escaped slaves, were routed and chased back along with Lord Dunmore all the way back to Norfolk, where they ended up along with, I believe it was Colonel Howe, boarding British ships. No, I'm sorry, it was not Howe. I stand corrected. Howe refused them supplies. They requested supplies so they could leave. He refused them supplies, and the overcrowded ships then left for safer harbors in New York. Benedict Arnold of Virginia. In 1781, Great Bridge came under attack again to support Cornwall Wallace. Huh. Good old Benedict. Traitor to the cause. Tory extraordinaire. If any of you can read this, you're doing better than I can. But back up. There we go. Perhaps if you pause this part of the video and blow it up, you might be able to read it. My old eyes won't allow it. We'll be going outside in just a bit, and I'll show you the monument out there, along with the modern day version of the bridge that they were fighting over to control supplies between North Carolina and Norfolk. Lord Dunmore, John Murray, had wanted the gunpowder from Williamsburg taken and redistributed. The Atlantic Intercoastal Waterway sign I'll be showing you here in just a moment. The Intercoastal Waterway, Coinjock, North Carolina, Elizabeth City, North Carolina, Belhaven, Wilmington, Georgetown, Charleston, Savannah, Jacksonville, Miami, and Key West. North, you have Norfolk, which is 12 miles. Newport News is 24 miles. Cape Charles, which is where my family is originally from, is 50 miles. Richmond is 115. Washington is 210. Washington is 209. Baltimore is 210. Philadelphia is 298. New York is 452. Boston 717. And Eastport, 967 miles by the Inland Waterway, or the Causeway as they referred to it back then. A little more, this is not current by any stretch. The bridge is actually much wider than this now. But this was a more modern version of the bridge. And as you can see here, the switches and controls for the bridge. And as you can see, the waterways have always been important. And they were the arteries that supplied food, water, ammunition, everyday life essentials. So it would stand to reason the British would want to control the causeway. No, I think I'll pass on the gift shop. I don't mean that, I mean oyster milk looks like. In 2015, the Great Bridge Battlefield and Waterways History Foundation transformed the shoreline in front of where the museum is now located. A grant from the Chesapeake Bay Restoration Fund supported construction of 140 feet of living shoreline dedicated to preserving and stewardship. The foundation nearly quadrupled the grant by working with local environmental groups and businesses to secure in-kind donations to complete the project. Ah, that's what they were doing. We'll be walking some of the shoreline, or some of the bridgeway, shortly. William T. Oh, okay. I don't know if you'll be able to read that, but we'll try. Did I tell you that my cousin was actually in charge of helping with the rebuild of the bridge?
You did not.
Yeah, my cousin Ray. He works for the city of Chesapeake, and he works for bridges and roadways. He's a supervisor. He was in charge of helping. Yep. Yep. Now we're headed outside to the, and there's part of the inland waterway in front of us, which you'll get a better view of once I go outside. And there, ladies and gentlemen, is the bridge, or today's version of the bridge, for which all of the fighting was done in 1775. This is the inland waterway as you saw, it does span quite a distance, going down into Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, then down into Florida, as far north as Maine. They've definitely done some work since I was out here last.
Useless roommate's wisdom of the day. Watch out for goose turds.
Yep, because we got them out here. The Canadians.
We might have to stop recording for a minute.
Why? I can record the monument without getting these people in it. And we're on, this is public,
Yeah,
so
that's not the point. I don't want to get kicked out of here.
we're not going to get kicked out, Alex. And as my paranoid roommate, God love him. They've definitely redone this, because none of this was here when I was out here last. Oh, they've taken the flags down. Ah. Sad. It might be because they're going to be closing soon, and they've retired the colors. But as you saw in some of my pictures, if you visited my site on the community page, so the two colonial flags would have been the Virginia British colonial flag would have been there and there, and this site, this pole, would have housed, or does house, I assume still, the give me liberty or give me death flag. And the different counties. You've got King George. Let me back up. You've got King George, Elizabeth City, North Carolina, Charles City, Virginia, New Kent, Virginia, York, which is part of the colonial triangle, Warwick, the county of Warwick, James City County, the city of Williamsburg, which was the colonial capital back then.
That tells you how long this has been here.
Hmm?
James City.
Mm-hmm.
Not James City anymore.
No. Well, they're talking about when it was originally founded. Lancaster, Northumberland. What did they change James City to? I don't remember.
What's that?
I say, what did they change James City to? I don't remember.
Newport News.
Was it? Richmond, which is still the city of Richmond.
There's
Westmoreland, Prince William County, Loudoun County. Everybody knows Loudoun. Everybody knows about Loudoun County. Not just for the racetrack either. Fairfax, Southampton, that one looks like it's, oh, Dinwiddie. which is still Dinwiddie. Brunswick, Prince George, Surrey, which is still Surrey. It's actually the city of Surrey now. I'm surprised they haven't changed that. Sussex, and that was it back then. That was it back then. Hmm? Yeah, that's where we came in.
Across the water?
Yeah. We'll go across. I'm getting on your other side, Alex. That way you can remain anonymous. I want to put the hood up. Oh, wait. Wait. They continued it on this side. So, they continued the names over here. I didn't get these.
Oh.
Stafford, Carolyn, Augusta East, Albemarle, the Albemarle River and the Albemarle Canal, Amherst, Buckingham. That's it. And now we'll take a jaunt a little ways down the waterway here. I'm really glad that they did this since I've been out here last. We've got some nice picnic areas if anybody ever comes out this way and wants to spend some time out here. Now, for those of you who are more of a paranormal ilk, there is a story that says that here on the canal, that there is a headless ferryman who travels the canal. And of course, as is fitting, he lost his head to a cannonball. The irony.
No, it's probably lead.
Walk ahead of me. I want to shoot the front of this. And as you can see, this is the Great Bridge Battlefield and Waterways Museum, which is now open, which is really nice. Now, just think, back then, all of this was marsh. All of this was marsh. And a lot of it still is. I believe that the Dismal Swamp between North Carolina and Virginia is something like 750,000 square miles. I believe that's what it is. But as you can see, they were fighting over a serious waterway. Back then, this, like I said, inside, back then this was the life's blood for supplies for this area. Without it, they would have been in a world of trouble. I'm going to get a long shot down the bridge, Alex. I want y'all to think, Alex, I did not realize that the museum had been completed and he was generous enough to pay the entry fee, because I, like an idiot, forgot my wallet. Okay, we're not going to worry about the life ring and calling 911. But no fishing or crabbing from the pier? Huh. That's okay. They just go across the street to the park and do that. But that is odd that they don't allow fishing or crabbing from the pier. But yep. There's a shot of the bridge that was much smaller back then. In fact, according to some of the things I read, in order to get across it 6 abreast, they actually had to, under fire, place planks, the British did, to get across for the attack on the colonial patriots. So it is now a, I believe, 6 lane. I believe it's 3 one way and 3 the other. Whereas before it was just wide enough, more or less, for a wagon one at a time. I'm surprised that they did.
It's almost like insisting on traveling 6 abreast was a bad idea.
Yes. Yes. 6 abreast was a horrible idea. As you can see, it is still a very active waterway. In fact, many of the locals will go across the street to Locks Park and spend a lazy Sunday afternoon watching the boats go up and down the waterway. I'm walking down to the end here on purpose because I want to get a semi-clear shot of something specific. Now this waterway is not all fresh water, by the way. It is actually brackish. The ocean does feed into the waterway, so it's a combination, for those of you who don't know what brackish water is, of salt water with fresh water. And I have, upon occasion, caught in the same water both freshwater fish like catfish and saltwater fish like the indigenous spot. And there are also Chesapeake Bay crab in these waters. So it is feasible to have both fresh and salt in the same water in some instances. Let me see if I get down here. You can see some of these boats, some of these really, really nice boats. Some of these are docked here. Oh! Almost didn't see the missing plank. Okay. No, we're good. I'm gonna go right here. And as you can see down there is what we call the top of the world, which is an overpass bridge. At one point it was the highest point in Chesapeake. It no longer is, but it was at one point. That allowed you to get a really good view, and it still does allow you to get a good view of what's left of the marshlands that make up the inland waterway. Okay, we'll head back. So, yep, I got you. I got it. So there, ladies and gentlemen, is the walkthrough of the Battle of Grey Bridge historical site and museum. I hope that you all have enjoyed it. I've enjoyed bringing it to you, and I look forward to hearing, or reading, I should say, comments that you may leave down at the bottom. If you've enjoyed this and would like for me to do more of these, because there is plenty more here in Virginia to do, leave a comment. And please, as always, like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. And this is Mutt. Have a good day.